Day 1212 of the Ukrainian War Map, also known as the Russo-Ukrainian War. Juzzie here, and today is another update as I take a simplified and down-to-earth approach to some of the most important happenings on the ground in Ukraine. So starting off, we'll take a look at those Russian losses, as currently Russia sits on more than 1,008,000 military personnel losses, representing an additional 1,080 in the past day. Then as for hardware, 4 tanks, 8 APVs, 63 artillery, and very little in the way of oil refineries recently, though not due to some AFU loss of capability to strike those non-moving and considerably large targets, but instead coming from external political concerns, as a number of both official Ukrainian and US statements publicly acknowledged the US urging Ukraine to refrain from striking energy targets inside of Russian territory, and that was before the Middle East events over the past week, upon concerns of increasing oil prices. So it looks like they're taking a back seat for now. Then headed across to the map as Ukraine struck an ammunition depot in Rilsk of Kursk, igniting a massive blaze. The raging fire was accompanied by the unmistakable sounds of ammunition cooking off, suggesting significant damage to the facility and its munition stockpiles. Rilsk continues to get hammered for the key logistics and staging hub that it is, designed for supporting Moscow's invasion forces just north of Ukraine. Then also seen somewhere inside of Russian Kursk, Ukrainian military from the 103rd Territorial Defense Brigade destroyed a Russian BTR-80 APC, and this one was shown to get all the drone treatment. The first of the FPVs struck the moving target, causing crew to retreat on foot. A second FPV went head-on, then a third down the hatch, and a fourth one coming last, circling the already destroyed vehicle, potentially heading off to look for another target, seeing what had transpired. Oh, and let's not forget the fifth drone, the reconnaissance UAV above. Next, to the southeast Kursk pocket, with more word on the AFU advancing around Chotkino, encircling the town. Russia hasn't yet fully committed to taking the bait on this one, but at a certain point, where things continue to escalate in this direction, they'll have no choice but to divert additional resources. Then almost right next door, the AFU's 225th Separate Assault Regiment pulled off a textbook strike on a Russian command post near Andrivka in the Sumy Oblast, just 5 clicks from Russia's border incursion point. Their assault took out Russian Major Andrei Yartsev, the commander of Russia's 30th Motorized Rifle Regiment, confirmed through obtained identification documents. Then further down the map, east of Toretsk in the Konstantinivka direction, where the Russian army shaved a square kilometer of land on this front, east of the main highway. And it's always these small posted Russian gains like these that keep the Kremlin believing itself to be on the winning path, without the contextual zoom-out representation on the map, alongside ignoring the combined heavy attritional cost for each gain. And remembering, it's not just the case of a small unit of 4 Russian soldiers diligently planning an overtake of a location such as this one, followed by methodically executing the plan. Instead, it's varying-sized units, predominantly consisting of infantrymen, pushed to the front on countless sectors all over the map every single day of the week, looking for a lucky entry point across untold square miles of land. It's a form of gambling. Then further east, deep behind enemy lines, occupied and 2014 enemy lines, explosions were reported in Shakhtarsk, situated at about 80 kilometers or 50 miles from the contact point. Little information is known on this one, but appears to be targeting a roof communication relay or other military equipment. Then to take a look around the map with a brief mention on the following: more train derailments. This time being a cargo train 10 miles southeast of Moscow. As for the cause, no immediate signs of sabotage, and Russian railways put out a statement to say that the tracks and car do not belong to Russian railways, being instead a private company, essentially stating they are not responsible for the derailment, repairs, or any consequences, and responding in line with the national mindset. Also on the map, the lifeblood of the mechanized Russian army, the humble Buhanka van, aka the Loaf, destroyed somewhere near to Bakhmut, And based on what we can see, I think the AFU found the invader ammo resupply. Also seen on the map, a small platoon of Boers run across the front line at night. And for those of you that only listen and don't watch the video, this isn't a reference to invading orcs, but rather actual Boers instead. It's understandable the mix-up that could occur there. Then headed across to a recap of the events over the past day as it pertains to Russian ally Iran, where Israel's air campaign against Iran has unfolded with further precision and relentless tempo, fundamentally redrawing the map of the conflict in less than a week. Early strikes today targeted Iran's rocket fuel stocks in Zanjan, igniting secondary explosions. Before dawn could settle, Israeli jets were already overhead in Kermanshah, where at least 5 Iranian AH-1J Cobra helicopters were destroyed in their hangars, dealing a heavy blow to the Islamic Republic's air capabilities. Then in Shenin Shah of central Iran, there was a large explosion at a warehouse with distinctive orange smoke suggesting the presence of nitrogen dioxide, which is often associated with materials used in military weapon applications. Then also strategic sites vital to Iran's nuclear and military ambitions have had taken direct hits. For instance, the Arak heavy water reactor, once a central concern for Western negotiators, had its core seal breached. The Israeli Defense Forces stated the strike hit the reactor's core seal, a key component for plutonium production, to prevent its use in nuclear weapons development, and signaling Israel's willingness to go after the heart of the regime's most sensitive projects. Meanwhile, Israeli reconnaissance F-15s were seen or spotted outfitted with long-range cameras, likely designed to methodically hunt down remaining missile launchers and mapping out of various other targets. Now, more broadly speaking, Israeli strikes have also driven Iranian forces to begin firing missiles from central Iran rather than its western edge closer to Israel, which speaks to the redrawing of the war map lines. Iran's response included ballistic missiles and drones that struck Beersheva's Soroka Hospital and battered downtown Ramat Gan. The intercepted ballistic missiles, as seen here, are unimaginably large, the size of a metro train car, and all happening right around the time we saw a great deal of footage of missiles launched from Iran becoming intercepted over the Israeli capital of Tel Aviv. Now, these responses, while still dangerous, has the data to show that Iranian return fire may be becoming increasingly limited, because following Israel's targeted air campaign reportedly destroying half of Iran's ballistic missile launchers, it's now plotted to show that Iranian ballistic missile strikes are reducing in scale and frequency to the level of scattered salvos. Then as for further Iranian responses, if you will, include reports swirling of senior officials and their families fleeing on 3 Iranian government jets, seeking sanctuary potentially out of Iran. Just prior to that, information on the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, moving to a secure bunker near the Afghan border, right as Iranian leadership had begun secret talks with Russia to evacuate top officials. With this information coming from the IRGC, so the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is a multi-service primary branch of the Iranian Armed Forces, according to the IRGC-linked international outlet. Now, taking a look at part of the international angle, where Russia appears to maintain its distance, signaling not a great deal of willingness to intervene, stating that the Russia-Iran security agreement does not have a defense clause, and Iran did not want to cooperate with Russia on air defense previously. What a security partner to be found in Moscow. Meanwhile, the US has quietly repositioned the strategic assets of large military aircraft out of Qatar, with over 34 aircraft repositioning to other bases further from Iran. So, in less than a week, Israel has demonstrated that not just technological superiority, but an intelligence edge and operational tempo few thought possible. And now, with regime figures in hiding, launchers destroyed, air defenses shattered, Iran faces a strategic dilemma. Every hour the pressure grows, every day the options narrow, needing to mobilize any strategic reserves, and above all, for any autocracy like this, needing to maintain a clampdown on complete control against their own citizens in the populated isolated regions throughout the country. Then headed across to a couple of super quick funnies to round off the video, starting to get a backlog with everything happening at the moment. So to quickly spin these ones out, the first shows of the untrained, unprofessional Russian army in their preparation for overnight naval raids, having one navigator pump the gas and ride into another. Then lastly, and potentially more Iranian propaganda, with more of this phony image-generated slop showing a downed US stealth B-2 bomber, completely out of proportion to the Iranian figures. Those B-2s are massive. I don't know what's exactly going on with this one, where it's come from, but if Iranian produced, they got their skills from the Russian propaganda department, as you could clearly see here. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks again for watching. Please continue to like, comment. Thanks once again for all of the support, and I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one. Cheers!